Hi friends, today we are going to discuss a problem on bistable multivibrator. So the data given here is R1 is 10K, R2 50K and RC is 2.2K and VCC is given 12 volts, VBB is also given 12 volts and here HFE minimum the value is given by 30 and asked to find stable state voltage and currents. So stable state voltage and current means initially we need to assume any one of the stable state. Either it might be Q1 on, Q2 off or Q2 on, Q1 off. So initially assume any one of the stable state. So I'm assuming one stable state, the stable state as Q1 off and Q2 on. This is the stable state I am assuming. So when I say Q1 off, Q2 on, that means here I can say what Q1 I said off, Q2 on. This transistor is in on state, right? So now assume the voltage over here it is VC1, assume the voltage over here it is VC2, the voltage over here it is VB1 and the voltage over here it is VB2. Clear. Now as I said Q1 is off, Q1 is off. When I say Q1 off, so the current flowing into the first transistor IC1 will be 0 and IB1 will be 0. Here the current flowing, here it is, let us assume it is IC1 and the current flowing into this is, let us assume it is IB1. So when I say Q1 off, immediately we should make IC1 0, IB1 0 because these two transistors are, this transistor is in off state. So these two currents will be 0. Now some current flowing through this branch, let us consider it to be I1 and the current flowing to IC1 is 0. As this IC1 is 0, complete I1 will flow to this R1. So this is I1. Out of this I1 some current will be split into this as, let us assume it is I3. Let us assume the current in this branch is I3 and let us assume the current flowing here it is IB2 actual. Assume that the current flowing to here it is IB2 actual, where this I3 is nothing, I3 plus IB2 actual is nothing but I1 because IC1 is 0, total current will flow to R1. Here from this at the node VB2 the current will be divided between I3 and IB2. So these are the current distributions for Q1 transistor. Now let us assume the current flowing through this RC, let us assume it is I2 and I said as Q1 is in on state, Q1 is in on state. When I say Q1 on, we should get into mind that is VC2 is nothing but VCE saturation. The voltage at that point is VCE saturation and that must be equal to 0.3 as it is a silicon transistor. So the voltage at this point VC2 is 0.3 volts as it is an on transistor. Now the VB2 is nothing but VBE saturation, VBE saturation, that is 0.7 volts. Okay, now the current I2 will split at this point as here IC2 and the same some current will be divided, this I2 will be divided into this as, let us assume it as some I4. Let us assume the current flowing through R1 is I4, where this current now this IC2 is nothing but IC2 is nothing but IC2 is nothing but I4 plus, sorry, I2 is nothing but the current I2 is nothing but IC2 plus I4. So this I2 will divide between these two branches. Now come to VB1. As this IB1 is equal to 0, the current flowing through this will enter into R2 as I4 because IB2 is 0. So no current will flow to this transistor. So these are the current distributions. Now we need to find what is VC1, I1, I4, I2, IC2, everything we need to find. So now let us calculate what is I1 now. So I1 is according to nodal analysis. See, I1 we can write as I1 is equal to I1. Here I know VCC, that is 12, and here I know the value of VB2. Now if I apply KVL, VCC is equal to I1RC plus I1R1 is equal to VB2. So I can apply nodal analysis between these two branches because the same current is flowing throughout these branches. So same current is flowing. So I can write I1 is equal to VCC minus VB2 divided by R1 plus RC. So that is VCC minus VBE saturation divided by R1 plus RC, that is equal to VCC is 12 minus 0.7 divided by R1 is 10K plus R2 is 50K. So that is totally 11.3 divided by 60K. So this is 0.92 milliamps. 0.92 milliamps. Now let us find what is this I3. So I3 is a current flowing through this R2 resistor, right? So here I know VB2, that is VBE saturation. I know this VBB is given by 12. So I3 is VB2 minus of minus VBB by R2. So I can write this I3 as VB2 minus of minus VBB divided by R2. So it is equal to, so this VB2 is VBE saturation, so that is 0.7 plus VBB is 12 divided by R2 I have is 50K. So this is 12.7 divided by 50K. So that is approximately it is 0.25 milliamps. This is I3. So here I know the value of I1. Now here I know the value of I3. But from this equation, IB2 is nothing but I1 minus I3. See here, if I apply nodal analysis at this point, I1 is entering, I3, IB2 are leaving. So from this, IB2 can be written as I1 minus I3. So the IB2 actual current flowing to this is I1 minus I3. So it is 0.92 minus 0.25 is approximately it is 0.67 milliamps. This is the actual current flowing into the base of second transistor, right? So we have to test whether the transistor is in saturation or not. We'll discuss that now. Try to find the value of current is I2. So here I2 is, here I know the value of VC2, here I know the value of VCC. I can apply between these two nodes. So I2 is nothing but VCC minus VC2 by RC. So that is VCC minus VC2 divided by RC. So that is VCC minus VC2 by RC. So it is 12 minus VC2 is 0.3 divided by RC is given by 2.2K. So it is 11.7 divided by 2.2. So it is 5.31 milliamps. So here I got to know what I1 is given by how much? 0.92 milliamps, and I got to know I3 as 0.25 milliamps. I got to know I2 as 5.31 milliamps, and I got to know IB2 actual current is actual current is 0.67 milliamps. This is the data we came to know. Now, if one more thing we need to calculate is I4. So the value of I4, we can calculate it easily. So I4, I can write it as C. I4, I know the value of Vc2. Same I4 is flowing through R1, same I4 is flowing through R2. So I know the value of Vc2, I know the value of VBB, that is the same branch. So Vc2 minus VBB by R1 plus R2 will give the value of I4. So I4 is equal to Vc2 minus VBB divided by R1 plus R2. Same branch, the same current is flowing over here. So that is Vc2 is 0.3, minus of minus is plus, so it is 12 divided by R1 10k plus R2 is 50k. So the value of I4 is 0.205 milliamps. It is 12.3 divided by 60k, 0.205 milliamps. Okay, here even I came to know the value of I4 is 0.205 milliamps. Right. So as I know the value of I4 and I know the value of I2, so if I apply KVL at Vc2, node Vc2, if I apply KVL at this node Vc2, so that is I2 is entering, I4 IC2 are leaving. So no KCL at node Vc2, what I can apply is, so IC2 is I2 minus I4. So I2 is given by 5.31 milliamps minus I4 is 0.205. So it is approximately 5.1 milliamp. Okay, even I know the value of IC2 as, here I got the value of IC2 as 5.1 milliamps. Right. So this is the data we came to know. Now test for saturation. So how can I say that the transistor Q2 is in saturation? As I said, Q2 is in on state. How to calculate the saturation current? So that is test for saturation. So test for saturation means here we need to calculate the minimum required current to make Q2 enter into saturation. Test for saturation. So here the value of IB2 actual flowing current, is given by how much IB2 actually is 0.67 milliamps. Already we calculated. This is the actual current flowing, but there is a minimum current required to enter this transistor into saturation. So that is always the value of the minimum required current, IB2 minimum, the minimum required current must be that is IC2 saturation current divided by HFE. So IC2 saturation current means what is the current flowing through this branch. So divide by HFE will give minimum required current. So I can say that when IB2 minimum is greater than IB2 actual is greater than the minimum required current, IB2 actual is greater than IB2 minimum, then I can say that the device is in saturation. So we shall calculate this. So IB2 minimum required current now I am going to calculate, that is IB2 minimum is given by IC2 saturation. IC2 saturation is how much? 5.1 milliamp. So that is 5.1 divided by HFE is given by 30. So this value 1 by 6 means approximately 0.175. So IB2 minimum is 0.175 milliamps. So IB2 minimum is 0.175. Minimum required current to make the device enter into saturation. Minimum required current is how much? 0.175, so that the device will enter into saturation. But actually the current flowing is, actual current flowing here it is 0.67. So 0.675 is greater than 0.175. This condition is satisfied, so I can say Q2 is in saturation. So you need to understand what is the minimum required current. Ante here I can say that it has some minimum cutoff current which makes Q2 enter into saturation. That is for this device is 0.75. That minimum current required 0.175 is the minimum current which makes Q2 enter into saturation. But originally the current flowing is greater than the required current. So I can say that the device is in saturation. So this is the test for saturation. Now the remaining things, what are the left, what the remaining things left is, we need to calculate what is this Vc1 and what is this Vb1. Now I need to calculate whether Q2 is in cutoff state or not, so that I need to get the value of Vb1. We shall see how we are going to calculate those two values. So one confirmation what we got is Q2 is in saturation. Now we need to verify whether Q1 is in off state or not. Right, so we shall calculate that. So how to calculate this Vc1? So now apply KVL to this loop. So what I will get, Vcc is equals to I1 RC plus Vc1. From this Vc1 is equal to Vcc minus I1 RC. So Vcc is 12 minus I1 is 0.92 milliamps into 0.92 milli into RC is 2.2 K. So this milli and K will be cancelled. So this value is approximately 9.97 volts. So the value of Vc1 is 9.97 volts. Now try to calculate Vb1. So how to calculate Vb1? Simply I can apply KVL to this loop here. What is that? Vc2 is equal to I4R1 plus Vb1, right? Or otherwise I can say simply right, apply KVL at that node. So I can write Vc2 is equal to I4R1 plus Vb1. So from this Vb1 is equal to Vc2 minus I4R1. So I can say Vc2 is 0.3, that is saturation voltage, minus I4 is how much? 0.205 milli into R1 is again it is 10K. So that is 0.3 minus this. So approximately this value is minus 1.7 volts. So Vb1 is negative. What does this mean? Vb1 negative means the base voltage of first transistor is negative. That means Q1 is in cutoff. Q1 cutoff. So we already got to know that Q1 is in saturation. That was confirmed by test for saturation, and now here Q1 is in cutoff. That is given by Vb1 value, which is negative, means that is a that Q1 is in cutoff. Yeah. For the same problem, another question is, what is the maximum load a bistable multivibrator can drive, still maintaining one transistor in saturation, other in cutoff? So here the question is, I am going to attach a load at this particular node Vc1, so that some current of this I1 may enter into this load. But here the condition is that the states of this transistor should not be altered. So here I am attaching a load. So what is that? So I am attaching, let us consider a load resistor RL, so that let us consider the current entering into it is IL. Now my question is, what is the maximum load this bistable multivibrator can drive, still not changing those states? So here actually before attaching this load, the current complete I1 is flowing to R1 because IC1 is 0. But now as a load is attached over here, some of this I1 may also flow to this, isn't it or not? So when some current flows to this, definitely some current will be changed, flowing, some current flowing through R1 will change, so that the current, this I3 will be fixed because IB1 is fixed, VBB is fixed. VBB is minus VBB is 12 and VB2 is VB is at, so I3 is fixed. So what is the parameter will be going to affect is compulsory this IB2. The current flowing into the device will affect because of this load. So my question is, what is this maximum load this transistor can drive, still maintaining this transistor in cutoff and this transistor is in saturation? What is the extra load we can attach? So now here, as some load is connected over here, so I am assuming the current flowing through this is IL. Now because of this, previously the I1 is completely flowed into R1. Now that is will never happen. But my thing is that this transistor should be in the saturation. So minimum required current to maintain the transistor in saturation is 0.175. Already we calculated. Minimum required current IB2 minimum is 0.725. So that is the minimum required current to make the transistor into saturation. Minimum required current to make Q2 saturation. But actually the current flowing is what? But actual current flowing is IB2, actual current flowing is 0.675 milliamps. We can utilize this extra current. Minimum required is 0.175, but actual flowing is 0.715. So the extra current I can utilize to drive this load. So here the minimum required current I will correct it as IB minimum. So if the current is less than 0.175, even by a small amount, the transistor Q2 will enter into another region. So that may not be in saturation. So here the minimum required current is IB2 minimum 0.175 is required now. So I3 is fixed, here IB2 minimum. Now I am correcting this as I1 dash. So now I1 dash is actually I3 IB2 minimum plus I3. Previously it was I1 and it is IB2 actual. The current flowing here it is 0.175. So because I attached load without altering the state of this transistor, I want to drive this load. So here I am making a current to enter into Q2 is IB2 minimum. So that I call it as I1. So now this is IB2. So that is IB2 minimum is 0.175 plus I3 is 0.25. 0.25 here already we calculated. So the current is approximately 0.425 milliamps. Now I1 dash is 0.425. Previously it was 0.92 milliamps, right? So previously 0.92 milliamps. Some extra current is flowing into this. So I am making this transistor at edge of saturation. The extra current is utilized to drive this load. So now the current flowing, I am assuming it is 0.425. So now apply KVL by that assumed current here. So what I will get is VC1, modified VC1. VC1 is equal to R1 I1 dash plus, that is VB2. So this is, now I am calculating VC1 as R1 is how much? 10K. 10K into I1 dash is 0.425 milli plus VB2 is 0.7. So the value of now VC1 is approximately milli cancel. So it is 4.2 plus 0.7. 4.2 plus 0.7, it is 4. Approximately 4.95 volts. Previously the VC1 how much we got is, I hope it is 9.97. Previously the value of VC1 we got is 9.97, because now I am making the transistor, second transistor at the edge of this saturation. So now the modified VC1 is 4.95. So with this modified VC1, now try to calculate the value of current I1. What is actual current required to flow with this now? So the value of I1 is VCC and this VC1, VCC minus VC1 divided by R1, modified VC1. So that is 12 minus 4.95 divided by R1 is 10K. So it is 12 minus 5, approximately 7 by 10. So that is 3.2 milliamps. 3.2 milliamps. Previously it is 0.9 and here also 0.92, but now here it is 0.45, here it is 0.45 and here it is 3.2. Clear? So now everything is known. Now let us calculate the value of IL. Apply nodal analysis at VC1. So if I apply nodal analysis at VC1, so what I will get is, so applying nodal analysis at VC1, nodal analysis at VC1, that is I1 is entering, I1 dash is leaving, IL is leaving. So I1 is equal to I1 dash plus IL. From this, IL is equal to I1 minus I1 dash. So the value of IL is I1 dash, I1 minus I1 dash. I1 is 3.2 milli minus I1 dash is 4.25 milli. 4.25 milli. So the value of IL is approximately 2.77 milliamps. So the transistor can drive the load. So I know the value of VC. I know the value of VC1, that is 4. How much? 4.95. So the value of VC1 is 4.95. VC1 is 4.95. So the load driven by this RL is given by VC1 divided by IL, V by I. So that is VC1 is 4.95 divided by IL is 2.77 milli. So it is 1.78 kilo ohms. The value of RL is now 1.78 kilo ohms. So this is the way to calculate the value of this load. So here the concept is that actual current flowing is 0.75, but required current is only that is IB2 minimum required is that is 0.175. So the extra current we can utilize to drive this load. Thank you.